Hi, this is Nikki Lynham from educatingnow.com. Thank you for joining me for this vlog on growth mindset. So whether you're a teacher or a parent, I think that knowing about growth mindset is probably the most important thing for all of your child's or students' educational needs. And I discovered this myself a few years ago when I was searching for why certain students just weren't learning. They weren't understanding no matter what practices we were using, what methods. And it was because they had fixed mindsets. And as soon as we helped them to develop growth mindsets, it was like a door was opened or they were unleashed from a prison and were all of a sudden able to learn in ways that they previously hadn't. And the more I started reading about this research and the effects of growth and fixed mindset, it completely blows my mind. So if you have no idea what this is, I really suggest you look into it further. I am going to be attaching links to a bunch of free websites and videos, as well as I'll give you some book suggestions so that you can be working on this with your students. It is the very first place I start when I teach, and I embed it into all of my teaching practices. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that more as we go into it. But first, what is this growth and fixed mindset? So I have a little image I'm going to show you. There. So I'm going to let you just read those. So you can see that if we have a growth mindset, you basically believe, and you have to truly believe it, that you can learn anything you want to. These are people who persevere even when they're frustrated. They like to be challenged, even if they make mistakes. They understand that failure is an opportunity to learn. The reward they want or the praise they want is around their effort. They're inspired by other people's success, and they believe their effort and attitude determine everything. I will tell you that has now been scientifically proven to be true. Attitude and effort far outweigh any inherent born ability when it comes to being successful. Now, conversely, we have our fixed mindset, which is a belief that you're just kind of born good or bad at something. And unfortunately, statistically, mathematics is where we see the most fixed mindsets. People, especially in North America, truly believe that there's such a thing as a math brain. And some of us have it, and some of us don't. That is a myth. There's no such thing. You are all capable of learning math. But that belief you have in yourself that you can't learn it is what is getting in your way. These are people who, when you have a fixed mindset, you just give up as soon as you get frustrated. You don't like to be challenged. You'd rather just take easy questions that you know that you can succeed at and look good, because you don't want to look dumb or stupid or inadequate in any way. They take failure as a real personal hit, and they want to be told how smart they are. They feel threatened by other people's success, and they think that their born ability is kind of the most important thing. So that's it in a nutshell. There's a lot more to it. I want you to think about yourself and your own mindset, as well as your child or your students. I definitely, since I started learning about this, have found my areas of fixed mindsetedness and where I have a growth mindset. And I'm working on a growth mindset in all areas. And it's very challenging. It's not easy. Significant difference personally. And in my teaching practice, I've noticed a mind-blowing difference. So I'll tell you where I first started was I watched Carol Dweck's TED Talk, because all of this research is based on Dr. Carol Dweck's work, and she is a Stanford professor and researcher, and she has been studying this for, I think, about 15 years. And she has about a 10-minute TED Talk. It's on the link, and absolutely recommend you watching it. And one of the things that neuroscientists now know from doing this research is that having this mindset, this isn't just a psychological thing, it's actually physiological. So students that have growth mindsets, their brains physiologically function differently than kids with a fixed mindset. More of it lights up when they make mistakes. They're more likely to persevere. Kids with a fixed mindset, less is going on in their brain, especially when they're making mistakes, and they tend to just give up. So we really want to encourage students to have that growth mindset. If you look at any successful person in the world, they have growth mindsets. They are people that have failed more often than most other people. But what makes them unique is that they kept going. Michael Jordan is a great example. Basketball, you'll see some famous quotes. He talks about how many games he's lost, how many times he was given the game winning shot and lost, and how many baskets he's missed, and so on. There are a ton of really great role models: Einstein, Edison, Oprah Winfrey. There's all sorts of people out there who have um, persevered and have encountered failure after failure, but have continued to work on. One of the things that I do want to tell you from Carol's research is the way in which we praise our kids helps them to develop either a fixed or a growth mindset. We want them all to have a growth mindset. By the way, 100% of kindergartners have a growth mindset. Unfortunately, that number drops between 12 and 15% per year. So by the time kids are getting to middle school and high school, way more than half of them have fixed mindsets. And like I said, math is where we see statistically the most fixed mindsets in terms of subjects at school. So we want to help them develop a growth mindset. It's easier the younger they are, and how we praise them really affects this. So what Carol Dweck found in her research is that when we praise traits like smartness or creativity or athleticism, we are creating fixed mindsets with our kids, and that it doesn't help them in the long run. Because what happens is we tell kids how smart they are. The minute that they encounter something challenging or difficult, which they should and they will at some point, they then self-identify as not smart, dumb, stupid, whatever. But when we praise their process, so wow, you really worked hard on that. Holy smokes, you spent a lot of time. Whoa, you tried that 6 different times and got it wrong before you figured it out the right way. You took a really creative approach to this. I really like how you linked it to this concept, or how you tried this strategy, even though it didn't end up working, but you gave it a go. Those types of ways that we praise help the students to develop growth mindsets. And one word that Carol Dweck suggests in her TED Talk is what started me going as an educator with this, and that word is yet. So when students say to me, which I still hear far too often, I can't do this, I respond with yet. And they kind of go, huh? And I say, you can't do this yet. You will. If you persevere and you keep at it and we keep trying and we look at it in different ways, you will get it. Might be tomorrow, it might be next week, it might be 2 years from now, but you're capable. You just haven't figured it out yet. And that helps them to continue going. It's not this shutdown, I'm done, I've given up thing that we often see. And a couple other just cautionary things, when we motivate by grades, when we focus on their achievement, on performances, we create fixed mindsets. And when we have fixed mindsets, and here's another thing that's interesting. Statistically, where we see the most fixed mindseted kids are high performing girls, as well as struggling students and minorities. I myself was a totally stereotypical high performing girl, fixed mindseted kid in high school. And I now look back with some regrets because I limited myself. I took myself out of honors math 9 because I wanted to get an A in regular math 9, and it would have been, I didn't think I was capable in the honors. I did not try anything that I wasn't good at immediately because I only wanted to do things that I was really good at to look successful and to feel successful. And I definitely did not risk take in terms of problem solving. I'm not talking dangerous risk taking. I'm talking like, oh, I don't know how to do this math concept. Let's see if I can figure it out for myself. Nope. I waited for someone to tell me, and then I followed the rules and I memorized it, and I did it often enough to do it really well. And that really handicapped me and a lot in the later years of my learning, because I wasn't actually that able to learn. I was only able to memorize and regurgitate. And so from a personal experience, I just believe in this so wholeheartedly. And I think as educators, this is absolutely where we need to start. And as parents, it's absolutely what we need to be doing at home. When parents say to me, how can I support my child with their math at home? I always start with growth mindset. If you are math phobic, if you are not good at math, if you don't think you have a math brain, Do not say those words to your child. If you're a teacher, if you're an elementary school teacher and you don't like math, do not say those words to your students. There is a large correlation between moms passing on fixed mindsets about math to daughters and female teachers passing on math anxiety and fixed mindsets about math to their female students. It is super damaging. So we need to be really mindful of our words and how we're presenting things to our kids and to our students. So if you were someone that struggled with math, I know sometimes parents say to kids like, "Oh, don't worry, I was never good at math either." That actually is really damaging. You're doing it to console them and to help them. It actually is not helping them at all. So instead, we want to give our kids the message of, yeah, you can learn this. You totally can. It's going to take work. It's going to take effort. And when math gets hard, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with the math, nor does it mean there's something wrong with the child. It's supposed to be challenging. If the learning isn't challenging, then it's not at their level. So we need to help our kids be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because the process of learning is uncomfortable. We're in a state of equilibrium, and when we're learning something new, we're challenging and we're pushing outside and we're in a state of disequilibrium. And then when we start to understand that thing or that concept, we get back into a place of equilibrium and it feels nice again. But that's what learning is. It's a sequence of pushing forward. So when your child is really struggling and there's tears and they're like, ugh, first we need to help them to calm their bodies. We take the deep breaths, we teach them about that. And then we say that's okay, because without great struggle, there is no great learning. And I believe that every child can learn, and they can. We just need to give them the time, the space, and enough ways of approaching it so that they can make sense of it. But that growth mindset, like I said, is the door. It either closes them in behind a wall of I'm never going to understand this, or it opens them up to I'm capable of learning whatever I want to. And as teachers, the way we teach and what we value is what helps sends either fixed or growth mindset messages to our students. So when we give them, when all their work is out of textbooks or worksheets, there's only one right answer, we are sending a fixed mindset message. When we give them open tasks or differentiated tasks, like what you see on Educating Now, and there's lots of resources out there with them, we're sending a growth mindset message. When we assess students using rubrics so that they can see the level where they're at and see what they need to do to get to higher levels, we're sending a growth mindset message. When we give them marks like 9 out of 10, we're sending a fixed mindset message, right? And again, that focus on grades sends a fixed mindset message. So as parents, we want to focus on the learning. As teachers, we want to focus on the learning, not on the performing. The performing comes at the end. It's a little piece. The learning and getting the feedback from them and giving the feedback to them to progress the learning forward is really what this is all about. That's what school's all about. So it's really up to us to help our kids to develop these growth mindsets. We need to model it. We need to be aware of where we're fixed, and we can just improve our own lives, personally as well as professionally, when we engage with these growth mindsets, tasks and ideas. So check out the links that I've given you. Look into this. It honestly is life-changing. When I teach it to students, they do say that. I recently had a grade 8 boy who spontaneously hugged me at the end of a growth mindset lesson and told me I changed his life. And I mean, it sounds really dramatic coming from a 13-year-old, but he was so sincere, and it unlocked something in him, and it made him understand some things in his own life in a whole new way. And he just kept thanking me profusely. And that's one child. I know it's affected many, many more. So check it out. Thank you for joining me for this vlog on growth mindset. And if you have any questions or requests about requests for future vlogs or more questions about growth mindset, if you want to learn more about it, let me know. I would love to meet your needs and maybe even develop a series of courses around it. Thanks, and have a great day.